Now, the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Right Rev Justin Welby, has apologised for betrayals and failings for the way in which the Church of England handled the case of Sussex paedophile priest Robert Coles.
Well, the 71-year-old Eastbourne vicar was sentenced to 8 years yesterday for grooming and abusing 3 boys in the 1970s and 80s. Sussex police say information that they recently received, which the church had known about for 16 years, proved crucial. And tonight, a charity for victims has called for all files containing allegations to be handed to the police by church leaders. Our Home Affairs correspondent, Colin Campbell, has the details.
Senior clergy had 2 opportunities to hand over information to the police about Robert Coles, but failed to do so. A vicar who groomed and abused 3 boys. The Archbishop of Canterbury says it's a case that's appalled him.
We would like to see the Archbishop order that all files containing allegations should be handed over to the police in the next 6 months. Those files should be given to the police without filtering, without filleting, and without destroying evidence in the process.
Brighton Crown Court heard yesterday that senior members of clergy, Bishop Wallace Ben and then Archdeacon Nicholas Reed, were told by Robert Coles that he had inappropriately touched a young church server in 1997. Police were never informed. In a statement, the Archbishop of Canterbury says the systems designed to protect the survivors clearly failed. Their vulnerability was taken advantage of. Any failings in this area must be immediately reported to the police. There are no excuses for shortcomings. He goes on to apologise with deep grief for the betrayal and failings that occurred. Phil Johnson is well aware of the heavy toll church safeguarding failings have. Some information about his abuser, Roy Cotton, was also not passed over to the police.
These are deep, dark secrets. Normally when people come forward, it's because they're in a time of crisis themselves. To prolong that by not sharing crucial information just prolongs the suffering of the survivor.
Sussex Police told me today that it was information handed over to them from the Diocese of Chichester last year which proved crucial in the conviction and jailing of Robert Coles. The big question is, why did it take 16 years for that crucial information to be handed over? The Archbishop of Canterbury says his priority is to prevent future failings like those highlighted by Robert Coles' case happening again.
That was Colin Campbell reporting. He joins us now in the studio. In your report there, we heard that Bishop Wallace Ben had been aware of the abuse allegations against Robert Coles. What is his response today?
Well, Paul, it's interesting. We have received a full statement now from Bishop Wallace Ben. We received it just over 20 minutes ago. Now, it is interesting because Bishop Wallace Ben reveals that a complaint under the clergy discipline measure concerning Robert Coles has now been dismissed against him, he says, on its merits. The Bishop, Wallace Ben, does accept that Robert Coles told him that he had abused a child back in 1997. Bishop Wallace Ben goes on to say that he informed the then safeguarding advisor, a lady called Janet Hine, but also informed the then Bishop of Chichester. And Bishop Wallace Ben says neither of them instructed or advised him to inform the police.
OK, thanks very much. And Bishop Wallace Ben was facing possible disciplinary action regarding child safeguarding and Robert Coles. What has Wallace Ben said about that tonight?
Well, it was the Archbishop of York, Dr. John Sentamu, who was going to have to decide on that formal complaint. He has dismissed the complaint against Bishop Wallace Ben on the grounds that it lacked sufficient substance to proceed. Bishop Wallace Ben does say that there was, however, inadequate training, but ends by saying, Polly, there was no ineptitude on his part and no cover-up.
OK, Colin, thank you.